All right. Sorry, guys. Thanks for your patience. Here we go.
So I hung up with the security company, was pissed off, just got done yelling at the man. And I really had watched my father growing up. And, a lot of times he would yell at some company. He would do something, Cassie, please. He would do something. And he would get like a letter of an apology from a company. Sometimes he would get people sending him products. I mean, it was all kinds of things that he used anger as a tool, and would get, he'd go into a restaurant. If he wasn't treated, he would get irate with the manager. The manager would actually apologize and say he was sorry. I just don't think that kind of thing works anymore. And I'm still trying it, but it seems to fail 100% of the time. And so I called ADT about 15 minutes later, and I was nice. I just went, I'm going to try a different approach. And the girl didn't even hesitate. She goes, well, your password's this, and gave me the password and said, sure, we'll get you all set up, and handled it all for me with no problems whatsoever. But anyways, I think people take responsibility for a lot of things they shouldn't. I think people take responsibility for their thoughts. I think in some aspect we start taking, as human beings, we take responsibility for our appetite. We actually think there's something we can do about it. Like our appetite, I have an appetite and my appetite's big, and we kind of throw ourselves in the middle of appetite as if we're part of it. We take our breathing. We take responsibility for our breathing. We kind of throw ourselves in the middle of our lungs, like we're doing it. Like, I'm breathing heavy now, like I need to stop. And, we take responsibility for our bodies. Like we really do. Not just, a lot of people are big, people are small, people are little, but we actually take responsibility. We say my body, and we take this deep responsibility for things, our thoughts, our bodies, our heart, our lungs, just things that, in my opinion, we're no part of. We're no part of our heartbeat. We're no part. It beats on its own. We're no part of our thoughts. Those just happen on their own. We're no part of our breathing. It just does it, whether we want it to or not. But we seem to take responsibility for it. And we take responsibility. Like I'm gaining weight. Like we're doing it. Like we're in there somehow, controlling it, and we take a lot of responsibility for those aspects of our life. But I think that there's, as I've done this, as the game of relationship has kind of progressed, and I've watched people struggle with life. And when I say struggle with life, for the most part, what I mean is we struggle with relationship. We just struggle with relationships with bosses, relationships with family, relationships in general. We don't have them. We begin to isolate, use drugs, whatever it is. And we struggle with the game of relationship. And then some people use the cop out and say, well, I don't want relationships. And that's just, to me, seems to be a cop out. Well, the weirdest thing is watching all this relationship work play out, and watch people in relationships. And it's so easy if you're from a distance. There was a guy called Cartman, and he made up what's called the drama triangle. And he said that human beings, when they're engaged in relationships and when they're engaged with people, play roles. And he said there's three roles they play. There's the rescuer, the persecutor, right? And the victim. So he said that there's these three roles that people unconsciously play. One person's always playing the victim, one person's trying to rescue the victim, and there's always the enemy, and it's a triangle. And he said that's kind of how unconscious relationships work. But I think that there's some variations upon that, and there's some more. And from me, what I see is the lack of responsibility. And where, for here, golfing, when you go golfing, you might suck. You might suck all day when you go golfing. But if anyone has ever went golfing, there's one time on one hole where you get a hold of a ball and you knock that ball straight, and it just goes. And that's all you need to go golfing again the next day. That's it. You hit that ball and you go, I'm going tomorrow. That was enough. Well, that's what it is in this work that we do here. In this work here, what we get excited for, and what I see as an exciting proposition, is having people show up for us differently. having people come here and show up different than they show up different for other people. They come here and they show up different. And we all see it. We see somebody show up and they show up one way. They show up like a victim. They show up how they show up here. And then there's a transition. And what happens is they begin to show up differently because of the way we treated them. Because of the way we've treated them, they begin to show up differently. Now, while we do this couples counseling and consultations and parent and kid thing, I found a different role that people play. And it's the role of innocent bystander. That's the role that most people are playing in relationships. If you ever watch football, whenever there's a pass interference call, the guy always goes like this. I didn't do it. I didn't touch him. Wasn't part of it. Didn't see me on camera. You must have missed it. You saw it wrong. They're watching the whole state of New York, just saw him on camera commit a penalty. And then they go, didn't do it. Didn't do it. Hands off. That's what we see with everyone that comes to us explaining their relationships. People take very little responsibility for how others are showing up. Almost none. In fact, none. They come to us and they say, ain't me, didn't do it, didn't touch it. This is what, and then the language that they speak of, the language that they describe other people's behavior in is they do this, they do that. They're always doing this. They never stop doing that. They do this, they do that, they never stop doing. That's their language. Now, what if the language had to change? And what if in your life you no longer got to say what other people did? What if you have to say, this is the way they show up for me? So when I describe another person's behavior, I have to describe it in that context. I have to say, this is the way they show up for me. See, as soon as you begin to do that, what you see is and what I see is so clear. And you guys can all see this. You see two people interacting, and then they're describing the interaction. And both are acting like innocent bystanders, explaining what the other one did. And you can so clearly see why one is treating the other one the way they're treating them. You can so clearly see it. You're like, she treats you like that because you do that. And you treat her like that because she does that. And you can so clearly take any couple, any relationship, anyone and watch it and see why it doesn't work. You can just look at it from any, you don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to be anything. And you can clearly see that in order for us to actually get this thing, and I think powerlessness was feeling that I couldn't make a difference in my life, that I could not, no matter what I did, I kept screwing up. I couldn't make a difference. Power. I remember the first line of cocaine. It will tear you up because I remember the first line of cocaine. When I took my first line of cocaine, I felt power. And what I felt was the power to make a difference. I felt I could talk to people. I could approach people. I felt bigger. I didn't feel like I needed to hide. I felt power. And I felt with people, I can now go make a difference. I can walk up to that girl. I can get her to do what I want her to do. I can go meet that dude. I don't feel inferior. I can say, what's up? I go play a game of pool and socialize. And then when I did opiates, I felt it too. When I did opiates, I felt tremendous power. And the power I felt was relationship power. It was the power to speak to people, the power to make a difference. And when I felt that power, you get the golf swing, you get the golf shot. And the golf shot is when you finally get a glimpse of your behavior changing another person's behavior. When you finally feel it for the first time in your life, when you feel that power, you'll never let it go again. You'll never let it go again. I'm not proud of anything. I tell people all the time, I didn't end my addiction. I ain't proud of me getting sober. My father did it. I showed up for my father. He changed his behavior and I showed up for him. That's it. That's me getting sober. Why'd you get sober, Art? Because I showed up for my dad. Because he had lived a life that required me to show up at the time. And thank God he did live that life. And thank God he had the power to have his son show up the way he wanted me to show up. And he did it and changed my life. And he changed the life of a lot of people here because you wouldn't be here without him. So that's pretty crazy. Just his ability to understand this and make a difference in my life. So this idea, I'm not proud of sobriety. I didn't do much. It just doesn't occur to me to use drugs anymore. And I don't know why it doesn't occur to me to use drugs anymore. It just doesn't, but it has something to do with what the path he set me on. Secondly, I'm not proud of stuff. I don't care, achievements or whatever that. I'm not even proud of like anything, but I'm proud of one thing in my life, the way that people show up for me. And I have to be proud of the way people show up for me. I have to take responsibility for it. I have to watch people struggle and complain about the way somebody shows up for you. I love it. You know how powerful it is to have parents come tell me how their kid shows up for them and then have their kids show up differently for me? You know the power that feels, and the power it feels that the kid can come here and show up different for this program and to create a program that people show up different for? Do you know what it means to have people show up different for you? Do you know what it means to take responsibility in your relationships for the showing up of another person, for all of their behavior, all of it, the whole thing? Nothing that they do is their responsibility. Everything, to take it all on as yours, all of it. To take that as power and to say, I am responsible. I'm fucking cause in the matter of every relationship I'm in. I'm not a victim to one of them. I'm cause in the matter of every one of them. And I make the shit go. I don't care what the fuck they're doing. Now there's power. You don't want it? You don't want that? Shit. Stop. Don't bullshit me. There's a way to get it. You got to stop talking about what they did. You got to stop worrying about what they're doing. You got to stop saying, this is what I did. People are blind to themselves. They are an innocent bystander, actually acting like an innocent bystander in a relationship. See that? Anyone comes to you complaining about any person, just look at the neglect. They neglect to tell you anything they do wrong. How is that possible? They neglect to take any fault. There's been a whole groups formed on this. In addiction, it's huge. We can't control other people. Control is wrong. Bullshit. Bullshit. Connection, not control. How do you connect with somebody? By having the power to control them. Not control them in a negative way, to control them in a positive way. To set up a system of behavior that when people are around you, they want to fall into that system. What, I control people because I want them to be honest with me? Okay, that's fine. I want people around me to keep my word. Is that control? Yes. I want people to show up on time. Is that control? No, that's not control. If it is, fuck it, I don't care. But connection, what is a connection based on? It's based on your ability to actually have these common values. That's what it's based on this, and it's based on one person's power to actually, based upon one person's power to enforce those rules. And the other person who's wavering from those rules and those values to actually want to participate and show up. A good teacher at high school doesn't have problems with his students. He doesn't say, let me go call the principal. Why? Because he knows and he is responsible for the way those kids show up for him. And a good teacher means the kids come and show up for him. Now, a bad teacher complains, takes no responsibility, and acts like an innocent bystander while describing the behavior of their students. Cannot control it, cannot change it. Bullshit. Why do we do drug treatment if you can't change it, can't control it, and didn't cause it? Why would we do drug treatment? We would just sit around in treatment centers, go, well, they're addicts, can't change it, can't control it, we didn't cause it. That is such nonsense. I'm describing, you can play be cause in the matter of another person's addiction. You can be cause in the matter of every relationship that you want to be. I was cause in the matter of getting my password from ADT. I didn't just complain about what they did. I said, let me sit here and adopt a different strategy and see if I can make it work so I don't have to wait. That's being cause in the matter, a strategic human being rather than a whiny, complaining, pissing and moaning, whimpering victim.
People say that a relationship is supposed to be 50-50,
It ain't.
but in my belief, I believe it's supposed to be 100 and 100.
Yeah.
Or 100 and whatever else
Right.
the other
Well,
person's putting in.
Right.
Very tricky. Very tricky. He said people think it's supposed to be 50-50. Yeah, that's that old nonsense about my side of the street.
Yeah.
Absolute 100% horse shit. Really.
I don't believe it.
Because what the person's saying is superior. My side of the street, I keep clean. The other person's a prick. So I don't care if they're a prick. I just keep my side clean. What if they're a prick? Do you want pricks in your life? I don't. So I got to go over there and help them clean it. I got to do something. I got to be cause in the matter of making them no longer a prick. I got to have them show up differently for me. So let's start. Can you do it? Can you stop talking about what people did to you and what they did and what he said and what she said and what they're always doing and how come he always does this and all that whiny bullshit? And can you say this is how they're showing up for me? And can you face that fact? Can you face the fact that if your relationships suck right now, that's how they're all showing up for you? And the general cause of your relationship showing up shitty is because you suck? Can you take that? And I'm sorry to all the parents. I'm sorry to everyone. You know, the truth is I've been sitting here for a year, 7 years, trying to say one thing. Look at yourself. Stop being an innocent bystander. Start being cause in the matter of all your relationships. You can make a difference. Whoever told you couldn't stop somebody else's addiction didn't know shit. People's addictions are only stopped by other people. Cops, judges, family members. That's it. If there was no people, none of us would be sober. We would be making drugs.
That's right.
Cause in the matter. This is how people are showing up for me. Can you use that language? You know, for me, I love it. I love the fact and the power of sitting and going, when people aren't showing up for me good, not the way I like, that I can go sit in my room and figure out another approach. That I can actually look at the collateral damage that I am. And this isn't daily. This isn't something that is built. The way people show up for you there's enormous impact on the way people show up for you. I mean, it has a lot of background to it. People show up the way they show up for you because of the way you dress. They show up the way they show up because of the car you drive. They show up because of the money they think you have or don't have. They show up because of your job. People show up differently for you for various reasons. People show up differently for you because you throw your litter away or don't. Everything is being watched, and we are showing up for others. And we all know why. Maybe we all don't know. We just don't really nail it. We don't sit and take enough time to really look at why we show up good for some people and show up bad for other people. We don't look deep enough into it. But we should. We should look deep into, wow, why did I show up so good for that powerful teacher in high school? And why was I such a prick to the other one? Why didn't I show up the same? Why didn't I see that I could make a difference with that other teacher? Why did I just complain about that other teacher and then show up good for this one? You know, it's very tricky because am I showing up for Kristen, Becky, and Ange, or are they showing up for me? You see, I can say I love the way that they're showing up for me, but I might be showing up for them because of the way they are.
You have both the same.
So you got it both ways, you see? So it's an awesome thing when two people, it doesn't matter leader, not leader, boss, anyone. It just doesn't matter. It just matters if the human being is taking responsibility for the showing up of the other human being. And that's the ultimate. I mean, across America, we have Democrats and Republicans. These imbeciles on TV, these politicians, are not responsible for the way the other side shows up for them. They're in a relationship, Democrats, Republicans, and they both just complain about each other with no responsibility. Do you know there is no way out of that? If you were to do couples counseling on Democrats and Republicans, you would have to find one area that either side took any goddamn responsibility. And you can't find it. You cannot find any responsibility. Neither will admit one failure ever. That is insanity. That is two people that are innocent bystanders causing the destruction of America. Two groups of people causing the destruction of America and setting themselves up and playing either a victim or an innocent bystander. And we've now adopted that in our individual relationships. You know how many people come? I didn't do any of this. This is my kid. I did none of this. Or, I mean, none of it. None of it. Nobody comes even questioning what they did wrong. I haven't had it yet. I haven't had somebody go, what did I do? What did we do? Now, what's wrong with that? I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying to be cause in the matter going forward, you're going to have to adopt a different way of being other than this. Do you know that's one thing to watch a defensive back commit pass interference and he goes like this, and to watch the opposite when there's success? Yeah. You ever seen a defensive back go like this when there's success? No, they go like this. They go like this. They go like this. They take all the responsibility for the success and none for the failure. Over and over. I watch you guys interact with each other, and there is no mystery when you don't get along with somebody. It's like, yeah, you're both fucking assholes to each other. It's always that way. If one of you would just stop being an asshole, you could fix it. You wouldn't even need both. You don't need both people. You just need one to stop being right. This is the work. One, I stop being oblivious to myself and my relationships. That's not like, actually, I said it wrong. Not stop being oblivious. Try to not be a little bit. That's better. Try to be a little less oblivious, because I think I've been doing it for 11 years and I'm probably still oblivious on an 80% scale, but I'm 20% less oblivious of how I am in the relationship. And to do that, you have to take criticism. You have to ask for criticism. You have to want critical thoughts about you. You have to ask to be critiqued. You have to encourage it. It's the only way to get better. And you have to inquire about what's going on with you. Relationship work is where it's all boiled down to, since we've done this whole thing. And you want to be successful. It's like I heard it was Jordan Peterson today. What did he say? If you're going to be successful, you got to be really good at something. First of all, you got to get good at something. And then, of course, I don't know, but I'm sure he went on to, you're going to have relationships. You're going to have relationships with people. And guess what? I'm sorry. If you got relationships with 3 people and that's all you want, that's fine. You're just never going to be successful. And you maybe going, fine, I want to be successful. I'll just be happy. Well, I don't know. You're going to struggle because you throw a party and you want to have fun and 2 people show up. You want people to go out to dinner with, but nobody wants to go with you. I mean, you're going to need relationship to have fun. I'm proud I'm not sitting here saying I'm proud of my 11 years sober because I didn't do anything. It just happened. It didn't occur to me it just occurred to me never to use drugs again. And I've just it's been occurring that way the whole time. Nothing happened. And it just occurs to me how to buy this and how to do this. But it occurring to me and learning this stuff in relationships and understanding and the fact that this mind takes responsibility for its relationships and always comes back to this place of sitting with myself and realizing that I'm causing the matter. And maybe I've always had it. Maybe I always thought that if I could just have a half hour with somebody, I could get them to like me. I've always kind of had that thought process. Just give me a half hour, and I know they hate me right now, but give me a half hour and they'll like me. Give me an hour, give me 2. Just let me be causing the matter of this relationship, and I can turn it around. And I've always saw that. I've always found great value in an apology. I always thought that apologies are like the turnaround of a lot of relationships. One person doesn't have to be right. They can go apologize.
Like a true apology.
A true apology. Just going, dude, I don't know what I was up to. It's like, fuck, man, listen, sorry. And then actually get better and don't do it again.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I'm proud of how people show up. I'm proud that I came here last year, 16 months ago, and there was none of you. And I'm proud that you all showed up here. And what I can say about that, it has something to do with being caused in the matter of relationships, and it has something to do with the energy you provide when you do take responsibility for who you are as a human. When you take that responsibility, people want to gravitate towards you. And they want to be around. And so out of everything that ever happened in my life, getting off drugs, being on drugs, burying my mother, buying my child home, whatever I can say that I've success building a business or whatever, no. I'm pretty glad I'm a human being that people want to be around. Don't be a dick. How's that? You know, we've been doing groups here all week. It's 2 things. It's like this. It's 11 years of drug treatment. Everything boiled down to like kindergarten. Just don't do drugs and don't be a dick. Because all the advice I have for you, don't do drugs and don't be a dick. Everything will work out. If you don't do those 2 things, like seriously, don't be a spoiled brat. Don't be a dick. Don't whine. Don't sit and pout. And everything will come to you. Opportunities will just hit you over the head. But it's a challenge because people have become so powerless that I sit here and have to convince people that they can even possibly maybe make a difference. Maybe if they try just one thing with their kid or one thing with each other or one thing with me. Convincing people of this is monumental. Convincing people that they're responsible for their thoughts is easy. I can blame you for your thoughts and you'll probably believe it. Convincing you that you can actually change yourself is something I can make you believe. I can make you believe that your fact that you don't have any money is your responsibility, whatever. But convincing people that the other person's behavior is a reflection of them is goddamn impossible. Until you felt it once in your life and you felt the power of being in control, the power of a little bit of not, and control is a bad word, but it's the only thing we got, but the power of like seeing people, somebody show up differently for one human and show up differently for you. It's awesome. It's an awesome feeling to have, hey, Art, they won't listen to anybody but you. Ah, sweet. That's fucking great. Gives me a lot of real good feeling of power. Thank you. You ever wonder why they don't listen to you? Yeah, you're probably a dick. So it's a language change. It's coming home and talking about your coworkers and actually saying, this is the way my coworkers are showing up for me. Because it's your life. Now you can talk about it as if you're a pedestrian, as a bystander in your own life, as if you're not there standing there causing anything, if you're not saying or doing anything, and just talk about it as if you're in somebody else's movie. and just explain your coworkers like you're not there. I know you're going to tell me you're innocent and you do nothing wrong ever when you're complaining about your coworkers, but maybe try. Maybe try to put yourself as in the mix of it and as one of the people, and then look up at the whole scene and look down at yourself and see what you look like. It might. And all I can say is the reason I'm passionate about this is because I believe in it deeply. There's not much more I believe in anymore. I don't believe in a lot anymore. I don't believe in much change. I don't believe in a bunch of stuff. And I'll tell you, and we'll see, we could talk about it forever. And I, in fact, if people know me well enough, I don't even believe that we're making choices. But I do believe that if your mind can pick up this concept and have the feeling and the experience of being caused in the matter of people around you, you'll never let go of it. You'll never complain again. You will not complain about the people around you because you'll know you're trying to let yourself off the hook. So rather than complain, you'll stop wasting that time and you go, this is how they're showing up for me. How do I got to make it different every time? Yeah.
I realized this week, like, I kind of, after having all these talks of, like, just, like, stop being, like, the dick, like, you know,
Yeah.
I, like, was like, God, these people are such assholes, like, looking at other people, and, like, I started thinking, okay, why do I think they're an asshole? And, like, thinking about it, and the more I thought about it, it's because, like, I'm seeing behaviors that I do, and it's pissing me off because I know I do it, and it pisses other people off. And I just, like, I know they can change it. Like,
Yeah, isn't it so easy to watch
Yeah.
other people being a dick?
yeah.
And it's so hard.
Can't fucking see it.
You can't see it when
Yeah,
we're doing it. We're oblivious to it.
I don't know. It's crazy to just think that there are, like, so many parallels between, like, me and other people here. And, like, that's why I get so angry sometimes. Like,
Well, you know, we're here tonight, and this lesson is about the experience of being in this house and have it being dominated and having people show up a certain way for an extended period of time, and then the continual showing up and having continually showing up that way and being disappointed in people and being angry, and then seeing just one person show up differently. It's like,
The whole group.
there it is. That's why we keep going. Exactly like that golf shot. And so I'm here, and this group it's about Katie, and it's about Brian, and it's about Stamp, and it's about seeing and you guys trying to understand that when you're a dick, the world is a dick. It will never be another way. As soon as you spend 5 minutes being a dick in a day, you will spend 5 days dealing with the repercussions of that, because everybody saw it. And think of the effect and the disrespect that will lead everyone else to have for you. And as soon as you're a dick for 5 minutes, you deal with the repercussions for 5 days. And you have to do massive changes to make up for that. You need things like apologies. You got to say you're sorry. You got to say, I'm sorry. I was being a dick yesterday, having a bad day. Then you don't get to do it again. An apology isn't a get out of jail free card. It's saying, I realized what I was doing was wrong, and I need to stop being a dick. Stop pouting. We have a lot of pouting here. Pouting, really? Think about that. Who taught you that? God damn. It happens here. Pouting. You know, like we're going to go, we're just going to come back with a big cake. Well, we knew you were pouting today, and we're back with your cake. Just come have some cake with us. But we actually do kind of get it. Sometimes we do. Pouting. Being just rude to other people. It is prevalent here. And you don't know how the world's going to show up for you after you do that. There is deep repercussions for 5 minutes of being a dick. They don't go away. So the ultimate in responsibility. I do not care that people pay their bills. That is the dumbest shit I ever heard when people say I'm responsible because I pay my bills. It is the dumbest shit I ever heard because somebody says I'm responsible because I take care of my kids. What is the fucking alternative? Having kids and not taking responsibility for them? You had kids, you better. And that's the fundamental lowest level of responsibility. Okay, you want cable, so you pay for it. You want a car, so you pay for it. Responsibility is actually just one thing, not complaining. That's it. If you complain, you're not responsible. Somebody else is. That's it. So to be responsible for your life, you just can't complain. You can pay your bills all you want, but if you complain and whine and sit at your house, you're not responsible. Cause in the matter. And we might complain to complain, but we can't really think that's true. Like that's going to work. You might complain to get a little pain out, but at some point you got to get in your car by yourself, or you got to get in your room by yourself, and you got to change what you're doing. You have to know that. Because it is okay. Sometimes we just complain because there's just, you got to get that energy out. But to truly be responsible for your life, yeah. Shit, the neighbor just hit my car. God damn it, stupid neighbor. Okay, blah, blah. Now you go in there and figure out what you got to do to have a running car. Yeah.
So like when you're feeling like inner turmoil and like just feeling like being a dick, how do you get whatever you're feeling out without being a dick and having others understand how you're feeling without being just a dick to them?
That's good. That's good. That's a great question. You're feeling inner, and that's why we're a dick sometimes. I said today in group that we're usually like this for two reasons. One, we're doing it because we want to get something. So we're being pouty or whiny or angry or whatever because we want to get something and we want to dominate people and get our way. Or we're a dick because we can't help it. And I said, and Brian just asked if, how do you not do that and deal with that? And one is to figure out the number one thing. It's not useful. We as human beings only do things when we think they're useful. And for some reason,
otherwise you wouldn't do it.
Otherwise you wouldn't do it. There's no payoff to it.
So being a strategy then is, or being a dick is a strategy then some people.
Yes. And it's and to understand that it somehow they saw their father do it and maybe get people to shut up around them. They saw somebody that there was a role model do it. And for some reason it worked for them. So they've adopted it as working for me. And, especially in this climate, being a dick is not useful. It has no use anymore. But actually, I can't say that no use anymore because I was a dick yesterday and it worked on two people. So I'm pretty happy with those results. But it wasn't because I couldn't control myself. It was because I intentionally went with that approach. And it wasn't because I lost it. So I think that, but what we do is we notice that. We just know. That's all. That's what it is. Now that Brian knows that strategy, that it's just a strategy you're putting on, or it's just something you're doing to try to because you feel shitty inside, then now there's a possibility for a different outlet. You can have a different outlet. Almost anything else is better than what you're doing. Like talking to people, venting, just going, God, I'm just pissed off about this. Whatever is a better strategy. It's great. We've had this sign up for a year and I never even really, we had a sign at the bottom of our stairs walking in the group and it just says, don't be a dick. And, I really didn't know that was going to be the whole program. That really, when it boils down, the whole program is don't do drugs and don't be a dick. And there's nothing else. If you can just do those two things, opportunities will just show up. People will want to help you. You want to be taken care of. You'll get along with people. It's so easy. basically my sister told me this. I was like 37 years old. I was still getting high. It was Thanksgiving. We were having the dinner here and I was still getting high with my sister. And my sister pops me in her car on the way home. She's going to give me a ride home. I don't have a car. And she's going to give me a ride home to my little townhouse I'm living in up the street with my girlfriend. And I jump in the car and she's got 2 kids in the back seat. And my sister's this little powerhouse, you know, and she's just, you know, accomplished everything and runs her family and goes on all the vacations and has her retirement and has everything paid for. And I looked at her and I said, Candy, and I was serious at the time. I said, Candy, how do you do this? How do you do this? And the look on her face was like I was the dumbest person she'd ever seen. I mean, she just looked at me with the dumbest look and she goes, I don't do drugs. And basically she could have added, and I'm not a dick. And it's like, she goes, it's like really easy. It's not, it's like, what's the alternative? You know, I get up, I go to work, I take the money from work and I pay my bills. Not much to it. You know, I don't take the money that was on my check and drive to the dope man's house with it. Oh, you don't? Shit. And I don't pout and whine and be a dick. Oh,
There's something to be said, like you're talking, you can't be successful without having those relationships, like with having 3 friends in your life. Like you need more people. Like
Yeah.
my addiction, I had no friends.
yeah.
And that's why, I mean, just not to do drugs, you're still in that spot with no friends.
That's
Like,
right.
why you need this.
That's right. You need this. And then to get a lot, to really use this leverage. Because I mean, I would caution everybody that's in this room. And the way I would caution you is I would say, don't look at people's current circumstances as who they are. And watch how you're treating everyone in this room, because you could be treating the CEO of a company the wrong way right now. You could be treating the guy that runs the union that you're trying to get into. You could be treating him the wrong way right now. I caution you. Now, I've took that caution my entire life in this business and tried to handle each person with respect, because, you know, I never knew when one of the kids in my program is going to come back as an IRS auditor or something, you know. I mean, who the fuck knows? And I'm going to be standing at my door going, hi, sir, you know, or that cop that pulls me over or whatever. And I hope that I've treated people well enough that it's that cop that pulls me over. He goes, hey, sorry I pulled you over, Art. Hit the road. You know, I hope. But I hope you don't have that smile like, now I got you, you fucking prick. Where's your rent money? You know, or maybe one of you will be my landlord. I'll be like 65 and, you know, one of you will be my landlord. I'll be like, can I pay Friday? No.
My word.
Yes.
So Katie's like your in-home nurse or something.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm at Katie's house, just asking to be on my phone a little longer.
Yeah.
Please, Katie, just let me stay in bed and watch my phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Okay.
So-
All right. Do we have any questions out there, Ange? Comments?
Not yet, but everybody, let's do this. Let me raise my hand so you can see. Just there's a raise your hand feature on your device. If you can't figure out how to do that, you can just unmute yourself, get my attention somehow.
I think
And,
it's so
questions?
far-fetched. Go ahead. Sorry.
What's that? Oh, any questions, any comments, any shares, everything's welcome. If you're new tonight, we'd love to meet you. Go ahead, Art.
I think this information is so off people's radar. I think that this discussion of us even being cause in the matter of relationships is had so very little and taught so very much. I mean, it's taught so very little, I mean, that it's hard for people to even understand what I'm talking about. Really. I mean, and that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, why would people want to have any more in the relationship? Because that's just more work that they have to do.
Yeah,
Why would somebody want more responsibility in a relationship?
that's
You
right.
know what I mean? And that's the way that people look at it.
Yeah.
But it's like, why wouldn't you want to have more responsibility in a relationship? Why wouldn't you want to build relationships and fucking
And just
have
that
people around
insanity.
you that look up to you? You know what I mean? I remember the other day when we had that group, like, how do you want people to see you in life? How in life do you want to show up for other people? How do other people want to see you, right? And it's like, why wouldn't you want to be a person that people see as somebody that's good with relationships,
Yeah.
or somebody that's
And why wouldn't you want to show up? Why wouldn't you want people to show up and want you to be proud of them?
right, or somebody that has value? Or
Yeah.
any of that. Why wouldn't you want to be that person?
Yeah.
It just gives us people that, you know what I mean, gives us something to strive for.
I've always loved, and like I said about being proud, what I'm proud of the most is that people generally, and it's generalization, but generally, people give me the best side of themselves, the best of themselves. And I love that. And I'm proud of that. Because that means that they see the best in me. Because if people are giving you the worst side of themselves, that's because they see the worst side of you. And I'm proud when people give me the best side of themselves. You know, I'm proud when I see somebody do that and come to me, and people come to me and they want to tell me what good stuff they did. They want to impress. And I think that's it. I think that's the work of a lifetime, is having people, you know, we got grandpas and grandmas, we got grandpas, they're just hardworking men. And just because of who they are, their hard work, the way they live their life, people just show up for them. Just because they're a good man. It ain't flashy. It ain't a bunch. It's just people just show up for them. And that's our work. Recovery, looking at ourselves and saying, hey, I'm going to take ownership of all this. I'm going to look at the way people have been showing up for me, how they're treating me. And I'm going to want more. And so I got to get better. You know, it ain't a car. It ain't nothing. It ain't a car you drive or the house you live in. It's the ability to have a car and live in a house and have a house. So people, it's not the specific one. I used to just look up at people that had a home and I went, well, there's something different that they're doing than I'm not doing. And I got to do what they're doing just so I know how to do it. And I feel on the same level. I don't know, man. I see it all the time though. And I see people I swear that's the role that I see people playing the most, is the oblivious, innocent bystander, just describing the behavior of the people in their relationships as if they're not even in the relationship, as if they play no part. Just, this is what they do to me. This is what they do. What do you do? And the lists we have on people of the improvements that they should make. I mean, we just got huge lists on the improvements that other people's in our relationships should make. They should call me more. They should show up on time more. They should do this more. I mean, it's just incredible. Right now, we have husband and wives on here right now that got a list of 10 demands that they think the other person should do. And then they're going to be happy with the other person if those demands are met. And not one is anyone on here going, there's 10 things that I got to fix today to make my wife show up better for me. I don't think so.
Well, I don't think they'd even be happy after those 10 things are done.
No, they won't.
10 more.
There would be 10
Yeah.
more, yeah. Cycle.
It's the little things. It's hard to hear about your blind spots. It's hard to hear about what you're oblivious to. It's hard to take more responsibility. It's hard to be told that you're the cause of things.
But once you start working on them, it gets easier because you have fewer and fewer.
That's right. Wow.
It's never ending.
No, it's never ending. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing it 11 years. I don't have many viewers. Yeah. Sherry.
So last week you talked about we're kind of a mirror of the society around us. Is this kind of
Sherry, sorry, I was drunk last week. I've been drinking. What? Go? No. Oh, what? Go ahead.
it seems like, I mean, so last week it seems like it was, we were talking about it's the, you're kind of the group there is a mirror of like society as a whole, but in today it's kind of like a little bit of a mirror of you're kind of reflecting the same. If you're going to be a dick, you're going to get dick in return, right? Is it similar or is it completely different?
Similar. It's all the same. I mean, you just look at our society and look at every group now that is activist group. They're not activists. They're just whiny complain victims. Every group, name a group and I'll tell you that's what they're doing. I mean, really. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't see it all. So I'm not generalizing here, but for the most part, they think that change happens through complaint. And that's a strategy, just pointing out what's wrong. I mean, really, anyone can do that. Point out what's wrong. Really. But what if somebody could point out the way that it's showing up, say, I don't like the way it's showing up, and then say, here's the human being I have to be to make it show up the way I want it to show up. What if that was the approach? And I mean, really, what if the Republicans were to say, we don't like the way the Democrats are showing up in our life. And here's the type of human beings we're going to be to A, get along with them, B, enroll them in our way of thinking, and C, make a better country. What if that was the approach? Instead, it's complain, no responsibility, two oblivious bystanders in the relationship, innocent, by the way, both innocent. They didn't do anything. They've never done anything wrong. The Republican Party has yet to make a mistake. The Democratic Party has yet to make a mistake. By both admittedly. Not one of them's ever made a mistake.
But the other one does.
And the other one's made all the mistakes and caused all the damage. Come on. And that's not even what's talked about. Rather, people seem to have to go join one of these parties and then speak from one of their whatever it is. How do you join this? How do you join no responsibility? What, total blame. And that's just the new way. And hopefully here with these guys, this is where it starts. Like, really, Martin Luther King was a great leader, right? I believe, maybe, but he didn't blame anyone. He didn't blame anyone. He just gave a vision of what it should look like. And he said, this is the type of man I'm going to be to try to get it there. And he made a big difference. And I just think that, cause in the matter is what we have to be. It's power, man. God, it's power. So power to see somebody change and alter their behavior around you because they respect you more than they respect somebody else. It's so nice. It's so nice to be changed the caliber of a conversation when you walk in the room. Either way you want it to go. Sometimes I like to join the nonsense. Dick jokes were funny today. Yeah, we had a good session about some dick jokes. Dick's Burgers and Dick's and kind of little play on words there with the Dick's. It was fun, But we get serious and get down to work at some point.
All right, we have about 10 minutes left, so we got plenty of time for anybody that has any comments, questions. But let me just mention that next week will be our last solution group of the year, and then we'll be taking 2 weeks off. So heads up on that. And coming in the new year, we are going to do some group coaching in person. So that will be announced in January. And then we're looking at doing a workshop next year. We've got the spring auction dinner coming up April 23rd. So details of all those things will be coming in January. But we're pretty excited. We miss seeing people in person.
I think power comes in different forms. It comes in all kinds of forms, but I think the major component of power is responsibility. You will never find power without responsibility. you'll never find them in different rooms. And it's very odd that people want to have power, but they don't want no responsibility. I didn't do it. I didn't cause it. This wasn't me. They did that. It's always the thing. How come other people are doing this? Why are they doing
it?
Yeah. And I think if you've ever been to a consultation and you're a family member, the whole consultation is about us trying desperately to convince parents that they're causing the matter. And they can be. And each one of your parents, most of you are here because your parents decided to be causing the matter and found out that they could do it. And so just like my father, if you're here because your parents brought you here, you can look up at them and say, thank you for being causing the matter of my sobriety. You did it, because I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for you. And thank God you showed up that way and made me show up for you. We can stop giving credit to anything else. We can start really looking at the credit of the originator who jumped in our path and said, stop.
And it's so good to see like how life shows up for you too, when you take responsibility for everything in your life.
Yes. Yeah.
When you're able to take responsibility for literally everything in your life and have no complaints about anything in your life, but take responsibility for everything, the way life shows up for you. Like you were saying about Derek earlier.
Yeah.
And Derek was a perfect example. You know what I mean? Like Derek's not a dick. Derek's been doing good in group. He does exactly what he does. He's helpful at the house.
Yep.
And look what happens.
I
He
know.
shows up for him. He gets a fucking badass job handed to him.
Yep.
He's got a car.
He's got a car now. Like that. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
the
so
way
we're
life
describing
shows up for
Derek.
you.
We're describing Derek, and that was a prime example of somebody who has left it at the basics. He hasn't gotten flashy.
Mhm.
He hasn't had to come up with all these articulate ideas about what life is about. he hasn't, theorized about the program or looked at it in many ways and seen if it was right or wrong. He just went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to not do drugs and not be a dick. And lo and behold, life's just laying out this path for him. And it's that simple.
And if there is moments of being a dick, there is a genuine stopping and taking a look at it
That's right.
and to notice it.
And a non-defensive way of
Not
being
at all.
when,
Right.
there it is, recovery.
Yeah.
At its purest, at its finest, there it is. Getting better. And that's for all of us. That's for family members on here. That's for anyone, really. But I can't stress enough how much effort we have to put into convincing people that they can make a difference in a relationship. I mean, I spend hours upon hours trying to let somebody, it's like trying to just give somebody a little glimpse of the fact that they can make a difference in a relationship. And they are so dead set on what they think is a fact that they can't. They're so dead set on it that they'll argue me at every turn. But they won't do this. And if I do this, they're just going to do that. And they will just, no, they'll just do this. This is what they always do. My kid never cleans his room, never doesn't stop doing drugs, won't wake up. Comes here, he does it. Well, they're showing up for us. Now, I'm not saying it's that easy, because for parents, a long time, this is a lifetime. It can be a lifetime of getting to the place where it's showing up like it's showing up. And there could be a lot more work at backing out of that path that you walk down. If you go 15 years into the woods, you got 15 years it's going to take some time to walk back out.
Right.
So it is the work of a lifetime. It's not just the work of a day. But it starts with just one person in the family. Just one person saying, I want my family to show up different.
And even though it might take 15 years to get back out of the woods, there's still a joy in the fact that you're making your way back out.
That's right. It's getting better.
Yeah.
So we tell people in the consults all the time, and I'm not guaranteeing anything. In fact, it's just going to get a little better every day.
That's right.
And it gets better through responsibility. Just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then somebody gets a glimpse, like a golf shot, somebody gets a glimpse that they can actually make a difference. And when they see it, now it's like caviar. You can't.
It convinces.
Yeah, you're convinced.
Yeah.
And now you're going to keep going after it because you can see that there's a direct path to not being powerless. And that direct path is that in every instance of my life, when it's not going the way I want it to go, I look at myself. And that has to do with my money, my health, my people, my relationships, every aspect, my winning, my losing, everything that happens. I get to sit with myself, get to know myself, and learn how I need to change every day. And it's beautiful because I've been, in this house and just a couple days of people showing up different. It's like this breath of air that'll keep you going forever. You can go dive back down now and swim underwater.
Mm-hmm.
But you just need one breath. You just need someone to actually show up different in your life. And the beautiful thing is seeing the people that have come here, and that's what we're doing. We're making you show up differently. Control, fine, whatever you want to call it. Brainwashing, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's
welcome.
better. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. People always say, oh, what is that? Our town is doing that. Brainwashes the parents. Well, they're welcome.
Yes.
It's just
You're
reprogrammed.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we're down to the last couple of minutes. I did want to show this little shot here with the shirt, Donnie. I just love it. a little promotional ad there for the No Bullshit Hug shirt. I love it. Representing tonight. Thank you, Donnie. Oh, all right.
I didn't want to get angry tonight. It's not anger, but it's really years and years of just trying to convince people that the way they are is the issue. That the way you are is the issue. And it's such great news if you realize.
It is.
Because now you don't have to keep telling me the issue. And we don't have to discuss the issue. We can just now discuss the way you are. And if we can get down to the business of discussing the way you are, we fix all the issues. And it's that simple. And you've all come here and your life's the way it is because of the way you are. And there's nothing else about that. There's nothing else we can say about that. And that should be great news to you, because for the rest of your life, you just have to look at the way you are. And now you can fix any issue that you have in your life through the way you are. You can fix issues with ADT security. You can fix issues with your coworkers, with your parents, with whoever you want to work on it with. But we have to change the language. And I would encourage that. When you come home and you're complaining about your coworkers, be nice to have somebody around you and stop you and say, that's how they're showing up for you? Wow. I wonder if I went and worked there, if they'd show up for me like that. I'd go do something about it. And when I say do something about it, I'd be a different person than you, because that's how they're showing up for you. So I'm going to stay goddamn far the way you are. And you can watch. And you watch any two people in an argument. And if you've ever seen an argument with two people where they both weren't assholes, let me know. Really. It's two assholes trying to convince you that one of them isn't an asshole every time.
They both look stupid.
And they both look dumb. People trying to get off responsibility. But if you see a person and one person's going nuts and saying the other person's an asshole, and the other person's sitting quietly going, maybe you found one person that's responsible and one asshole. But guaranteed the person that's blaming and complaining is an asshole. I see it all the time. People calling me saying, oh, I would say 100% if anyone's ever said that they're in a toxic work environment, they are toxic. That is only be said by toxic people. I have people used to call me for sober living, and they would say, I got to get out of my current sober living. There's too much drama. And I would just hang up the phone. because I know for sure that they're causing it. For sure. Any woman or man that you've heard say, I don't like the drama, stay away from. They're the drama. That's never been said by a normal, healthy person. That is only said by dramatic people that like the drama. And toxic people create toxic work environments, and they out themselves when they say it's toxic. Because if they were responsible, they couldn't say they were a victim to it. They would be sitting there figuring out how to make it not toxic.
Yeah.
They would be saying, what could I do to make it better? And they would have already tried that, and they would have already done that, and they'd work on that. They'd keep working on that, and they'd just keep shutting up. Or they would just walk away and not say anything. It wasn't for me. Went to a different company. Okay. All right.
Hey, Art, can I
So-
say something real quick?
Yeah.
When you told me 7 years ago that we were causing the matter of our son's addiction, it totally changed our lives. It has changed our lives. Of course, I thought I loved him. And of course, Monty thought that he needed to be hard on him so that he would change. Well, that didn't work for any of us in the whole family. So when you told me that 7 years ago that I was causing the matter, it was kind of a different wording, but it was exactly the same thing. And Ty said that once we changed, meaning knew we were causing the matter and changed through coaching that you and Angie gave us, he said when we changed, he knew his addiction was over. And that was totally it. That's what we needed to do, is know that we were causing the matter and know that we needed to make changes. And it worked. So I just thought I could say that from the family side.
Thank you, Kristen. And if anyone's on here and they have any disagreements with me, I'll be sitting in this chair next Wednesday, and you come and we'll try to make it. I'll try to convince you of it. And if I can convince you of it, I can change your life. And if I can't, then I'm going to work harder to convince you of it, because I want to change your life. And I want to be a cause in the matter of changing your life. So I'm not coming here to fight, but if you come over and you give me the chance to explain this to you, if you don't understand how to be cause in the matter of your relationships, my whole job in life is to teach people to be cause in the matter. And I'm not going to stop until we get it done, because that's the only way to you to change your life. Nobody has ever changed their life that hasn't figured out first that they're causing the matter of it. And nobody's changed another person's life either that hasn't figured out that they're causing the matter. So I hope that does something for people. And I hope it brings a big somebody that wants to come argue, not to argue, but it'd be nice to sit here and see somebody that isn't convinced that they're causing all of it and still wants to blame other people, and actually watch them show up different by the end of the meeting. And that's the work. So I will never back down from it, and I'm never going to let anyone off the hook. And I don't get off the hook. There's nothing in my life that I'm not causing the matter in. So I don't know how that could be different for anybody else. But we got one more next week, and then I want everyone's welcome. I might even have my new group room. We got a new group room and media room built out in the shop right now, being remodeled by Lucas and Jason, who are a big part of what we're doing right now. And they've got it almost done out there. We just got to put the flooring in. The heat's in already. We got heat. We got meat. We're going to have 3 big screens on the wall to put up videos and to do things. We're going to have nice new furniture. It's going to be a nice group room out there. It should hold about 40 to 50 people. So bring your mask and
Many solution groups in the new year.
yeah, bring your mask and I'll check your vaccination cards at the door. Actually, can you get vaccinated all 3? For my group room, I want all 3 vaccinations and every booster that there's ever been. 4 masks. We're going to wear hazmat suits. Yeah. Yes.
Ask your buddy.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, Art. And we'll see you all next Tuesday for one final solution group. And we'll see you ladies in the morning for mom's group. Good night. Baby shower on Saturday. Good night. Good night. Good night.